Entrepreneurship is one of those things that we have to deal with. And I know people may be thinking, well, entrepreneurship don't have anything to do with education. But I want to propose to you that I disagree with that philosophy. I think that our school system in Antigua and Barbuda needs to have multiple points of exit. Currently, there is only one exit out of our school system, and that is with the taking of CXC and other standardized tests. I believe you offer ACT and SAT as an exit to the education system currently. Right. So, unless you're going to college, there is only one exit that is there. Standardized testing, whether from the Caribbean or from the American system. That is not good enough. We must allow a child who knows he's going to be an entrepreneur to exit the system as an entrepreneur. We must allow a child who has the aptitude for trades to exit the system qualified. We must allow a child who has a particular aptitude in science to have those qualifications and skills before they exit the school system. And how do we do that? This is just my proposal. It doesn't have to be the final one, but I can put it out there as a basis for discussion. We wait too long to offer CXC and other standardized tests to our children. Currently, it is at 4th and 5th form. I went to school when I got serious in Trinidad. And from 1st form in Trinidad, you're taking CXC subjects in the system there. That is where I knew for the first time that you could take a ton of subjects and you could take them before 5th form. I came from, this is 30 years ago, I came from a place where if you got 8 subjects, you were brilliant, and you took them all at 5th form. My ideal system will start to give any child access to the CXC requirements, and I'm using CXC because it's the predominant academic standardized test that we have. Give them access to those tests from 1st form. If you take 1 subject in 1st form, 2 in 2nd form, 3 in 3rd form, you will have the 5 requisite subjects that the government requires you to take. At 3rd form, you can now specialize based on your exit path and do business subjects if you want to become an entrepreneur. Do science if you want to go on to tertiary education. Do trade skills if you want to be in the trade field. And have 2 years of working experience coming out of school doing those skill-based things. Now, I don't know how easy or how hard that is. As a matter of fact, people like you, Mr. Smith, who have been around testing and been around that, maybe could develop that and find a way. But if we give the core at 3rd form, understanding that about 40% of children drop out of school at 3rd form, including yours truly. If I had 5 subjects at 3rd form, I wouldn't have to worry about selling drugs. I wouldn't have to worry about thieving nobody things, because I would have the base necessary for me to support myself and my family when I move on. We have to equip our next generation of people to have options coming out of the school system, and that option must include entrepreneurship. It is time now that we stop blaming the Syrian, stop blaming the Chinese, and develop a system that is indigenous and our own system to equip our children to compete with them. They don't know more about the villages than our children. It's discovered, they discover it when they come here. We know that. We know we have advantage over them. Why we don't put the things in place? Every Syrian teenager that come here, send him out, he can't even talk English. And he go out with a bag on his back in every village. And he work every day. Walk with his lunch in the bag or buy it from a Syrian man in the village there. Meanwhile, we're telling our children that they can't go and sell anything because they're too young, or they shouldn't be exposing themselves in the village. Ignorance. Let us teach entrepreneurship, including selling, and equip our children so that after 3rd form, they're ready to go out there and start the next shop and put those Chinese people that are invading the country that we have here out of business, because they're just as competent as them. And if we have tons of young people doing that, then we can buy at the same economies of scale that they're buying at. Instead of buying 2 things and shipping them in a barrel, 40 of us can buy 2 60-foot containers and bring them here, so our goods can be just as cheap as them. That is what we want. And I know we have a supermarket, and so that he can help us to tell us how we can develop that. And the next thing somebody asked me that I have to touch on entrepreneurship. Well, Franz, if you create so many entrepreneurs, isn't that going to be a glut in the market? Isn't it too much people that are going to be in that space? Well, the truth of the matter is, every child that you expose to entrepreneurship may not become an entrepreneur. We know the statistics that 90% of them are not going to do anything with it. They're going to fail, or they're going to exit that system. But suppose you introduce a child to entrepreneurship, and he left Antigua and went to Canada, and he make his big mark up there. Is an Antiguan child that make their big mark in Canada that can contribute back to the system here. If the child went to South America, if they went to the United States or Europe, you are now exporting the next big thing as an entrepreneur. We have to look at our system more holistically as we deal with the issue of entrepreneurship.